Trump administration nets 1,700 arrests after 1 month of Memphis crackdown. This on Fox News. Law enforcement officers have made more than 1,700 arrests in Memphis, Tennessee. People were arrested for homicides, drugs, gun charges, sex offenses, and even included 126 known gang members, according to the data. Additionally, 7 dozen missing children were located and 293 firearms seized as part of the Department of Justice-led effort. That is 72, according to some sources. So everyone's been going mad about Trump bringing in the law, bringing in our national defense to come and rid our country, especially our big cities, of cartel members, dangerous gangs, dangerous activities, and people are making a big fuss about this. But here's the reality. What happened in Memphis is a good thing. 72 missing children. 72 missing children were found. And over 1,700 people, violent people, untrustworthy people, people that are not good for society, were arrested. Many of them may get deported. Many of them are going to be going to prison. Some of them may be facing some serious charges. Why? Because they did evil in the country that they were residing in. They were engaging in sex trafficking. They were engaging in drug trafficking, engaging in violent gang activity. I don't know about you. I've been to Memphis, Tennessee. It is a dangerous place to be. Certain places in Memphis, if you go there as a white man, they'll look at you like you're from some enemy planet, and they don't treat you very well. Now, that's not everybody in Memphis, but there's places in Memphis that are so filled with violence, so filled with gang activity, that even the ordinary residents that live there are afraid to go outside of their doors. As the Fox News report that we read a little bit of, we're going to read a little bit more, also said that there's a woman who is virally videoed saying for the first time they haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. And for the first time, her children, she feels safe enough for her children to go into their backyard. This isn't their front yard. This isn't down the street like most civilized areas would be, but no, in their backyard. First time she feels safe that they're going into the backyard, her own children. This is how dangerous Memphis, Tennessee is. And it's good to hear, no matter what the critics say, it's good to hear that Donald Trump and his current administration is cracking down on the crime and the evildoers in our country today. That's good news. That's really good news. Those people, they do not deserve to be able to continue doing the evil and criminal activities that they practice, especially the ones who are kidnapping and who knows what they're doing to the 72 children, or who knows what had been done to the 72 children that were found. Let's continue here. A review by a local outlet, WSMV, found that Memphis had the highest violent crime rate in the country in 2024. A city dashboard reflected a recent improvement, showing that since September 1st, 2024, or 2025, doesn't specify, serious crime in Memphis has dropped to 46%. So I think this is actually referring to this year, September 1st. The serious crime has dropped almost by half, almost split in half. This wouldn't have happened under Joe Biden. This wouldn't have happened under any other Democratic candidate, let alone maybe some of even the conservative ones. But I'm glad it's happening now. You know, as a Christian, I can confidently say there's some things about Donald Trump he needs to get right with God. I get that. He's not a perfect man. Maybe he should choose his words more wisely, but he gets the job done. And I'm going to stand behind anyone who stands for these children that are being trafficked and abused, and anyone who stands against the violent crimes and the violent criminals that are going throughout our country. His main role in government is to protect the people inside of the country. That's exactly what he's doing. And that's a big win. That's a big win for Donald Trump. A person familiar with the operation said that the federal presence, including the National Guard, will remain in Memphis for now, and that there is no end date. There's no set end date to when the National Guard is going to leave Memphis. Guys, I've been to Memphis. I've been downtown Memphis. Memphis is extremely segregated. You have the people who are more into the gang lifestyle, gang culture, and a whole street. It's called Beale Street, I believe. A whole street. Last time I was there, it was a dirt road. It was a dirt, gravelly road. Many places over in I think they call it Graceland, where Elvis grew up. Dirt roads, traffic violations everywhere, trash everywhere, and frankly dangerous, not only for a white guy, but also for anybody. Dangerous for anybody because of all the activity that's going there. I remember my wife and I one time went through Memphis and we stopped at an Olive Garden. You know, Olive Gardens are supposed to be these really nice facilities. We stopped at an Olive Garden and there's food all over the floor of the Olive Garden. There was grease everywhere. The people that were around and some of the people that were working there seemed like they were up to no good. It's not just because it was dirty, but it's because there is something about Memphis. There's something about that city that makes it ridden with crime. I remember we got our food and it was not good. We didn't eat it. We had to leave. We didn't even feel safe there. And not just because of the color of our skin, but just because the presence of gangs there is so heavy. And it doesn't only affect the inner city streets, it affects even the surrounding region of Memphis, making Memphis the most, according to this study, the most dangerous city in the whole of the United States. There's a lot of cities out here. In the whole of the United States. And I thank President Donald Trump for doing something to stop the crime from increasing in Tennessee. And hopefully we'll see this trend around the country. Hopefully the government won't be able to take too much power by doing this. I mean, the government's already powerful enough as it is, but it's good to see the government doing something for Americans for once, and actually trying to take care of the safety of its own people and getting people who do not care for the welfare of the American people to keep those people in check as well. Good stuff. But there is a Bible verse I want to share on this. Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whosoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment upon themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unfaithful of the authority, or unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain, for he is God's minister and avenger to execute wrath on those who practice evil. That's exactly what we're seeing our government do today. Exactly what it's told to do in the Bible. Many people, they don't, many governments, many law enforcement, they don't fear God, they don't follow the Bible, they don't do what they're supposed to do. But as Christians and people in general, we need to recognize that law enforcement is a position that is divinely appointed for certain people, whether they abuse it or whether they use it justly. It is divinely appointed, and we shouldn't be against the terror to evil in our country. By the way, the terror to evil is usually a good thing, because the evil is terrified and not the good. I would rather the innocent people in Memphis not be terrified than them to be terrified and not have violence under control. So I'm very glad. I encourage you to pray for your local law enforcement, to pray for this administration at large, to pray for these brave men and women who are going into these cities and cracking down on dangerous gangs and violent people. Pray for them because they are divinely appointed by God to have their position, and they deserve our respect as they do the things that we may not be called to do ourselves.